September 15th, 2007. Residents of Caracas, Peru, watch in fascination as a gigantic fireball streaks across the sky. There is a loud explosion and a crash that shakes the ground violently. Something large and mysterious has fallen to Earth, causing a crater that scatters debris for nearly a mile in every direction. Fascination turns to fear when just a few days later, hundreds of people become strangely and violently ill.
An extraterrestrial fireball impacted the ground near Caracas in Peru. This impact sickened a great many people in that area.
That was never explained by authorities who couldn't really have an answer for why a meteorite strike would cause all these people to get sick. Meteorites are thought to be very clean and without bacteria or noxious gases.
Does this event suggest that microbes and other living organisms, not of this Earth, exist somewhere in the universe?
It would be narrow-minded to accept that all of our trillions of bacteria and viruses are so unique, since they occur everywhere in every part of this world, that they wouldn't occur in other planets and other systems around the universe.
The Stardust Mission, 2006. A NASA spacecraft plunges through the tail of Comet 81P Wild, collecting comet particles on blocks of a sticky material called aerogel. The findings stun even the most cynical scientists.
The Stardust detector came back to Earth. The particles collected were studied in detail, and many organic compounds were found, including the amino acid glycine, which is a building block for life.
Might asteroids and meteors really be the delivery system for alien microbes and other extraterrestrial life forms? Could strange germs and deadly diseases be the result of biological hitchhikers in space?
If you look at the historical records, plagues come suddenly, almost from nowhere. So I think comets are the natural carriers that one could look to as being the source of these epidemics. Comets were feared by almost all ancient civilizations as bringers of pestilence and death. But were they really primitive superstitions?
In the 1960s, Nobel laureate Harold Urey developed a new field of science called cosmochemistry. He theorized that meteorites contained the fossilized remains of space bacteria.
But it was dismissed almost instantly by a huge establishment of American meteoritic scientists. There's no way, they say, argued that life could be inside a comet. And so it was sort of essentially swept under the rug.
In 1996, NASA researchers, led by David McKay of the Johnson Space Center, announced that another space rock found in Antarctica, meteorite ALH 84001, contained the fossilized remains of life on Mars.
It must be confirmed by other scientists. But clearly, the fact that something of this magnitude is being explored is another vindication of America's space program and our continuing support for it, even in these tough financial times.
Even as recently as March of 2011, NASA scientist Richard Hoover published evidence of life found in meteorites.
Richard Hoover found really stunning images of microscopic organisms resembling modern organisms. This was published in March of 2011 in the Journal of Cosmology, and it's caused the biggest rumpus in science that I recall in my entire career. High officials of NASA were livid because here was this guy at Marshall Space Flight Center trying to overturn a paradigm.
If alien bacteria has entered the Earth's atmosphere, could have been sent here deliberately? Well, the answer is yes. If they were trying to invade a planet, they would do it by putting their own bacteria on pieces of rock and making sure that landed on planet Earth, and in so doing, create a series of violent epidemics that would wipe out the planet's population.